Well, here's an area that's one of my least favorite areas in the garden, and that is that fence that constantly is getting weeds growing up in it. The weed whacker gets hung up in the wire. The tiller can't get too close, and so it's a constant problem to keep the edges and border of the garden clean and weed-free. So we came up with an idea this fall that is actually proving to be wonderful for weed control in the garden, and we wanted to share it with you. We ended up with a lot of bales of old hay that wasn't really nutritious for the animals, and so that was stacked in the barn and not being used for anything. And then because we saved a lot of cardboard around the farm for excuse me, our permaculture projects, we ended up killing a couple of birds with one stone here by putting the old hay, and you could use straw bales. We lined the edge of the garden coming out 2.5 feet, which then created a storage area for cardboard. Once we've torn down cardboard boxes, they get laid in here nice and flat, and we lime it a little bit. We also will put dried leaves in here. We do not put any actual kitchen compost or anything like that. We're just keeping this as a nice little garden cardboard storage area. But a wonderful side benefit of this is that the worms absolutely love to live in these little areas. So we're calling these our little worm hotels that we built all around all of our gardens. And I'm going to show you a couple of more of them over here that have evolved a little further than this particular one. Here's another side of the garden where we've duplicated the same thing I just explained to you. We haven't been over here lately weeding, so as you can see, a few weeds have grown up in here. But once this program is in place, these weeds are just so easy to pull, and you just throw them right in there on top of your cardboard, and they actually become part of your plan and not a hassle to deal with. And the cherry trees like it too. But again, remember, we are creating worm hotels all the way around our garden. We're going to get off topic just a little bit because the Egyptian walking onions happen to be right here in this section of the garden. And they are in the process right now of producing their babies. These onions do not produce seeds. Instead, they actually form a little sac at the top of the mother arms, and they produce usually 3 or 4 little onions will actually grow with their own little stems, and they actually give birth to the baby onions. The sac opens up, and then the new little onions come out and they grow, and as they get heavier and heavier, they end up breaking the arm of the mother. They fall down to the ground, and then the new onion plant will take root if they're left to do their natural thing. And so the old saying was that if you left these onions alone and looked out in a field over time, it would look like they had walked across the field, and that's how they got the name Egyptian walking onions. But they're not native of Egypt. They actually are native of America. So we're now back to our worm gardens, and as you can see again, the hay or straw bales are around the edge of the garden, and cardboard gets laid down. Sprinkle some lime in there occasionally, and here's a particular section where we took leaves that were wintering over a fig bush, and those leaves just come here and get laid down right inside of this composting bed. We're just really excited about how this is going to end up because we're figuring it'll take us a couple of years as these products decay and decompose right inside these little beds. And then probably every 2 years, we just break the whole thing apart, rake it out over our gardens, and we start all over again with a fresh new bed. But this is an idea we started last fall, and we've really gotten more and more excited about it as we've continued to use it. So I encourage you all to build these around the edge of your gardens if you have the space.